The Harvard Law School class of 1956 had 500 students. Only 9 of them were women, and only one of them was Ruth Bader Ginsburg. One evening, law school dean Erwin Griswold hosted a dinner for the women. At the end of the meal, he asked them all to justify how they had taken a spot away from a man. Ginsburg answered that her husband was a law student and that a wife should understand her husband's work. 37 years later, she would become the second woman appointed to the United States Supreme Court. Joan Ruth Bader was born in 1933 to a working-class Jewish family, raised in the Flatbush neighborhood of Brooklyn. There were so many Joans in her kindergarten class that her mother suggested she go by her middle name. Some of Ruth's earliest memories were of going to the public library with her mother and sitting on her lap while she read to her. By the way, children read to by their parents early on display greater language comprehension than their peers by as early as age 2, and they might just become a Supreme Court justice. As a teenager, Ginsburg edited her high school newspaper and twirled batons for the school's pep club. She then went on to major in government at Cornell University, where she met and later married Martin David Ginsburg. She gave birth to a daughter, went on to attend Harvard Law School, transferred to Columbia Law, and graduated at the top of her class. But according to Ginsburg, not a single law firm in the entire city of New York was willing to hire her. In the early 1960s, law firms only hired women as secretaries. But after some advocacy from one of her law professors, Ginsburg was hired to clerk for Judge Edmund L. Palmieri. She then joined the Columbia Project on International Civil Procedure and went on to teach at Rutgers and Columbia, where she became the first tenured female faculty member in the school's history. She became heavily involved in women's rights, directing the women's rights projects of the American Civil Liberties Union during the 1970s and arguing several landmark gender discrimination cases in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. On June 14, 1993, RBG was nominated by President Clinton to be an Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court and was confirmed less than 2 months later. As a Supreme Court justice, RBG has garnered a reputation for pointed, powerful, and sometimes scathing dissents, and in her opinions, she has been a staunch supporter of women's rights and has opposed discrimination in all its forms, making her an inspiration to women and girls around the globe.